On a July morning in 2022, 23-year-old Kiena Dawes arrived at her friend's house, carrying her 9-month-old daughter in a car seat. Placing the child gently on the floor beside her mobile phone, Kiena walked back to her car and drove off alone. Less than 2 hours later, her life came to a tragic end when she lay down on the tracks of the West Coast Main Line in front of a speeding train. Her friend, discovering the baby in Keena's phone, which contained a suicide note, frantically tried to find her but to no avail. The police were alerted, but by the time they could act, it was too late. In her suicide note, titled The End, Kiena described the torment she had endured, placing blame on her abusive ex-boyfriend, Ryan Wellings. Her message was a plea for her suffering to serve as a wake-up call, urging authorities to take domestic abuse cases more seriously and prevent others from enduring the same fate. This heartbreaking story sheds light on Keena's turbulent relationship with Wellings, which began in January 2020. At first, the relationship seemed like a fairy tale to Kiena, who was charmed by Wellings' grand romantic gestures, such as tattooing her name on his neck and proposing on a beach. However, his darker side soon emerged. Wellings, a heavy drinker and drug user, became controlling and violent, subjecting Kiena to verbal, emotional, and physical abuse. The abuse escalated over their 2.5-year relationship. Wellings physically attacked Kiena on numerous occasions, including trying to strangle her with a phone charger and threatening to harm her with acid. He also inflicted emotional damage, calling her derogatory names and undermining her confidence. During one particularly horrifying incident, he dumped her head into her baby's bathwater while threatening her. Despite Keena's attempts to end the relationship, she often took Wellings back, fearing his threats and manipulation. Her mental health, already fragile due to a long history of depression and anxiety, deteriorated further. Diagnosed with emotionally unstable personality disorder, Kiena faced immense challenges in managing her emotions and self-esteem. The birth of their daughter brought her some joy but also intensified her vulnerability, as Wellings used the child to exert control over her. Kiena reported Wellings' abuse to the police multiple times. On at least 4 occasions, officers visited her home and documented her visible injuries, such as a black eye sustained while she was 6 months pregnant. However, their response was often inadequate. Wellings was arrested at times but quickly released on bail, even after breaching bail conditions. Kiena felt unsupported, believing the system had failed to protect her. The final straw came in July 2022 when Wellings assaulted her again. Following an argument over a trivial matter, he pushed Kiena so hard that she hit her head and sustained a severe gash. This incident prompted her to share images of her injuries on Facebook, though police later advised her to delete the post. Days later, overwhelmed by despair and feeling let down by authorities, Kiena took her own life. Wellings was eventually arrested and charged with assault, coercive and controlling behavior, and manslaughter. During his trial, Preston Crown Court heard harrowing details of his abuse, much of it corroborated by Keena's messages, police statements, and witness testimonies. Despite the evidence, Wellings denied his behavior, claiming Keena's accounts were exaggerated or false. He maintained that any injuries she sustained were accidental or occurred while he was restraining her. The jury found Wellings guilty of assault and coercive control but acquitted him of manslaughter. The prosecution had argued that his actions were a significant factor in Keena's suicide, but the court ultimately did not hold him directly responsible for her death. The case highlighted systemic failures in addressing domestic abuse. Following Keena's death, Lancashire Constabulary referred itself to the Independent Office for Police Conduct, IOPC, which later found multiple officers at fault for their handling of her reports. The lack of timely and effective intervention in Keena's case serves as a stark reminder of the urgent need for reforms in how authorities handle domestic violence cases. Keena's family continues to grapple with the loss and the aftermath of the trial. Her older sister, consumed by grief and anger, attempted a revenge attack on Wellings but was arrested before carrying it out. Despite the legal proceedings and the public attention surrounding Keena's story, her loved ones remain haunted by the tragedy and the system's failure to protect her. In her final note, Keena's thoughts were with her daughter. She pleaded for the world to ensure her child's safety and to protect her from the pain she had endured. Her words serve as a poignant reminder of the devastating impact of domestic abuse and the urgent need to support and empower victims before it's too late. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more updates on celebrity deaths and news updates.